So today we wanna once again gonna go through a new book, and the book is called The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck, MD, which I think stands for medical or something. If I'm not quite wrong, I might be just really truly wrong, but yeah. Anyway, I think it is a pretty cool book and a pretty interesting book because it is about just some general life thoughts, I think, which is cool, which can really be cool. But yeah, we're gonna see after the intro. And with that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. I'm super happy to be here, and I'm just gonna go straight into that. I do not want to waste your time, and I want to see what the book is all about. The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Profound truths and bold opinions on discipline, life, and love, written by a psychiatrist in 1978. It's been a bestseller all these years for a good reason. So we're gonna see. I know if there is some truths there, if there is some amazing things there or not. We will see. Life is difficult, and this is one of the greatest truths. Once it is accepted, the fact no longer matters. Most mourn as if life should be easy, as if that difficulties should not be. Discipline is the basic set of tools we require to solve life's problems. Without discipline, we can solve nothing. With total discipline, we can solve all problems because you're gonna stick to them, and we're gonna stick to them till we fucking finished it, until we fucking got the problem, until we fucking did something. In this process of solving problems, life has its meaning. Indeed, always. Problems create our courage and our wisdom. It is only because of problems that we grow. In school, we deliberately set problems for children to solve. Yes, which may or may not be a good decision to do or a good thing to do, because I think we all are meant to just solve different problems. I might not be meant for solving problems related to how to write things, because I can't fucking write, not something that I can do and stuff. So this might not just be my meaning, and it might not be the thing that I should have done or should be doing and stuff like that. Quite. Yeah. Most of us attempt to avoid problems. This tendency is the primary basis of all human mental illness. I see. But I think on the other hand, you shouldn't also just really create problems where there are no problems. Like, this also feels not to be a good thing, quite. Discipline tools, delaying of gratification, acceptance of responsibility, dedication to truth, and balancing. And I like just all of these things really a lot. And I should highlight them, but I can. But it's anyway, it is what it is. Undisciplined discipline is meaningless. I see. Parents who devote time to their children will perceive in them subtle needs for discipline. How they study, when they tell subtle falsehoods, when they run away from problems, and all of those things. So it apparently is kind of the thing that a parent should be doing to instill discipline. Feeling valuable is essential to mental health and self-discipline. It is a direct product of parental love, which I'm never quite sure of. There's so many different things that people say is due to how you were brought up, if this makes sense. I don't think so. And all of those things, like there's just a multitude of things that can be boiled down to that. Whether it is, I don't know, some mental illnesses, whether it is some other things. And I'm never quite sure of that. And I never ever quite also believe in that. I think it just, of course, there's going to be just some situations where it is the case, and I may just be very fortunate, and I am also definitely feeling really sad for those people that can say, well, it is indeed the case, but I haven't seen it. Self-discipline is self-caring, at least, maybe I have seen it. Well, I'm just not sure about it. Let's put it like this. Self-discipline is self-caring. If we feel ourselves valuable, then we will feel our time to be valuable, to organize it and protect it and make maximum use of it. A neighbor repairing a lawnmower, I've never been able to fix those kind of things. That's because you don't take the time. Many people simply do not take the time necessary to solve many of life's intellectual, social, or spiritual problems, which, I don't know, like there's a lot of interesting problems to solve, I guess. And I don't know, like what I'm feeling is that what about just making life a game? more or less. Seeing what happens when you're doing something, whether it is about I don't know, texting with somebody, what it is about trying to build something, what it is about repairing something. Like, what happens if you do that? Of course, there's going to be just some, let's say, some wrong decisions. Let's put it maybe like that. But yeah. I thought that if I waited long enough, the problem might go away. Problems do not go away. They must be worked through or else they remain. And also not ignoring them like just, they're not there. They're still fucking there. At least not in your conscious, but maybe in your subconscious or unconscious. We cannot solve a problem by saying, it is not my problem. Hoping that someone else will solve it for us, which is, I think, one of the biggest fucking things that you can be doing. They can really fuck you up, because if you just put somebody else in the shoes of just solving a problem that you at least say they are having, then you can't do anything. You have to wait till this person did something. So basically also blaming somebody else for doing some shit. Why? What's their point? What is their point of doing that? There is no point of doing that or in doing that. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, but by the way, just because I just had to think about it because of whatever reason, I do believe that having a purpose in life is just such an incredibly important thing for various things or for various reasons, if you will. And I think it just also in terms of like, if you what did I want to say? Fuck. If you're having a purpose in life, then it also feels that you're valuable, I guess, and or your time is spent on something that is valuable, which makes the time valuable as such as well. So I don't know, like meaning and purpose, incredibly important things, I believe. May or may not be the truth, but really, I believe in it. Many seek to avoid the pain of their problems by saying, this problem was caused me by other people or by circumstances beyond my control, and therefore it is up to other people or society to solve this problem for me. I can solve a problem only when I say this is my problem and it is up to me to solve it. Distinguishing what we are and what we are not responsible for in this life is one of the greatest problems. It is never completely solved. Continually reassess where our responsibilities lie. This is what I should be doing. This is what I shouldn't be doing. Parents can assist their children in this maturation process, unless they haven't figured it out themselves in some way. Either confront them with their tendency to avoid or escape responsibility for their own actions, or can reassure them that certain situations are not their fault. Yes, I don't think as a parent you can really do something there, because I don't know, like if you just tell your child to be like, take responsibility, blame yourself, then I don't know, like the child maybe gonna be like, well, it is raining, it's my fault because I did some shit. But then I think you gotta have to step in and be like, no, it's actually not your fault. But yeah, by the way, are you working? Yes, you're working. I'm just really living on the edge because I'm, I think, having 4% of some shit, which is not that much. Not that much. Neurotics make themselves miserable. Those with character disorders may make everyone else miserable. It's a little bit negative, I gotta have to say. And I don't know, like if this is true, like can't say. Whenever we seek to avoid the responsibility for our own behavior, we do so by attempting to give that responsibility to some other individual or organization or entity. But this means that this means we then give away our power to that entity, be it fate or society or the government or the corporation or our boss. Yes, indeed, we don't have any power then. If we blame somebody else, if we give the power to somebody else, we are not able to change it because it's not our fault, because it's not us to be blamed and all those things. He will speak unceasingly of the oppressive forces in our society. I have tried to point out to him that he is not a child. As children, our parents are responsible for our well-being. He does not acknowledge these freedoms. Every time he speaks of how he's victimized by these forces, he actually is giving away his freedom. Yes. And I think it greatly also has something to do with accepting that it is actually harming you, that it is victimizing you, that it is doing something to you, and all those things. Like, if you don't feel harmed, then you're not harmed. As dumb and as easy and as just whatever it might sound, but it is indeed the case. If you don't feel angry, then you're not angry. Quite. And if there is no reason to be mad, then you're also not mad. Quite. Or something. Like I don't know. Like it is something interesting. Dedication to the truth must continually be employed. The more our minds are befuddled by falsehood, misperceptions, and illusion, the less able we will be to determine correct courses of action and make wise decisions. Some stop making maps by the end of adolescence. By the end of middle age, most people have given up the effort. They feel certain that their maps are complete and their worldview is correct. They are no longer interested in new information. But it is not the truth. We are having a lot of biases and we're having a lot of dumb shit that we believe in. Unfortunately. Quite. If our maps are to be accurate, we have continually... If our maps are to be accurate, we have to continually revise them. The world itself is constantly changing, so is also us changing. Glaciers come, glaciers go. The vantage point from which we view the world is constantly and quite rapidly changing. Make revisions to your worldview is painful. A person may expend much more energy defending an outmoded view of the world than would have been required to correct it in the first place. But yeah, just like it really takes energy to say like, well, I have always been wrong about this and that thing. I have always been wrong about, in my case, milk being bad for you. And I should have drank milk because to some degree it would have just made a few things easier. Protein intake and all those things what I'm referring to. But yeah, it is what it is. This is what life is. This is what we're doing. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not gonna cut that out because I'm trying to be very fast with cutting at this point in time. Also because I don't want to waste my time. I don't know if it is actually gonna make it better or even worse. And on the other hand, it just saves me time and I can do other shit. For example, learning shit. And not feeling the pressure of, wow, I now have to learn something and I have to do something right fucking now. And all of that shit. Like, I do not want to be just completely, fucked. When he was a young child, he suffered disappointment through his parents' lack of caring. When he stopped trusting his parents, his disappointments diminished dramatically. The reality that this child came to was not, I can't trust my parents, but I can't trust people. Therefore, that became the map. He passed up opportunities to revise his map. We must always hold truth as more vital to our self-interest than our comfort. Consider our personal discomfort relatively unimportant and even welcome it in the service of the search for truth. Yes, indeed. Comfort is often like just, if it is gone, it is gone and we are fine with it, ultimately. Of course, do I want to sleep on the ground? No, I don't want to, quite. Even though, by the way, this is something that I think about because Stoics also used to do that, I guess. To just sleep on the ground instead of in your bed. Just to see what it is like and to see that you can do that. And if it is the case once in your life, then you can be fine with it. And then it is fine. And then whatever. The only way that we can be certain that our map of reality is valid is to expose it to the criticism and challenge of other map makers. Talking to people and being like, well, this is how I'm seeing the world. And they're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Maybe. Or they're going to be like, well, this is just how I'm seeing the world as well. This is how I see things as well. And then you bang and then you have 7 kids. Or maybe not. Could also be. Who knows? The reason people lie is to avoid the pain of challenge and its consequences. 2 of the most common lies are, we really love our children and our parents really loved us. When it is not the case, people often go to extraordinary lengths to avoid the realization. I don't know, it might be just some of these things that we all want to have and we all want to see and we all want to do, but in reality, it is no, it's not the case. But we don't want to, we just don't want to see that maybe. Maybe, which was the first point, it's so in our heads that we have to acknowledge that, we have to just think that or something. The decision to withhold the truth should never be passed on personal needs, such as the need for power, a need to be liked, or a need to protect one's map from challenge. The assessment of others' needs is an act of responsibility which is so complex that it can only be executed wisely when one operates with genuine love for the other. The decision to withhold the truth should never be based on personal needs. What does withhold mean? Let's start there. Withhold means refuse. The decision to refuse the truth should never be based on personal needs. Okay. Balancing. To be completely honest, yet to withhold the whole truth when appropriate. Assume total responsibility but reject responsibility that is not truly yours or ours. Delay gratification and keep an eye on the future, yet when it is not destructive, to live in the present and act spontaneously. I think this is a very good paragraph because it's indeed about balance. Very balanced. Very indeed balanced. I just gotta have to say, I think it makes sense. I think we should be doing things in that way. Most often, of course, not gonna be always the case, I guess. Possible. Yeah. The loss of balance is ultimately more painful than a sacrifice required to maintain balance. When I was a child, my desire to win a game served me well. As a parent, I recognized that it got in my way, so it had to go. Yeah. I think, I don't know, we're having certain stages in life, and certain stages in life require certain thoughts, certain patterns, certain ways of doing things and whatnot, I guess, for example. The feeling associated with giving up something that is part of ourselves and familiar is depression. Depression is a normal and basically healthy phenomenon. It becomes abnormal or unhealthy only when something interferes with the giving up process, and depression is prolonged. The pain of giving up with the outgrown, which needs to be forsaken, the dependency of childhood, the omnipotentiality of adolescence, the freedom of uncommitment, the agility of youth, the sexual attractiveness and or potency of... I just wondered. The fantasy of immortality, the independence of physical health, and ultimately the self and life itself. This is also really good. Like all these things, I think he covered it all, basically. Balance the need for stability and assertion of the self with the need for new knowledge and greater understanding. And the next one is going to be the last one. Temporarily give up yourself to make room for the incorporation of new material. 1. When a couple falls out of love, they may begin to really love. When we act lovingly, despite the fact that we don't feel loving. When a couple falls out of love, they may begin to really love. When we act lovingly, despite the fact that we don't feel loving. In the course of many years of loving, extending our limits is a gradual but progressive enlargement of the self, a thinning of our ego boundaries. The more we love, the more blurred becomes the distinction between the self and the world. We become identified with the world. When you require another individual for your survival, you are a parasite on that individual. There is no choice, no freedom involved in your relationship. It is a matter of necessity rather than love. Love is the free exercise of choice. Two people love each other only when they are quite capable of living without each other but choose to live with each other. And with that being said, I'm gonna end it. Amazing thoughts, really amazing thoughts. Yeah, and since I can't click anything, the question of today is once again, what could you do to just make somebody's life better? Could you say something? Could you make something? Can you build something? Can you do whatever to make that happen? Yeah. With that being said, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself, and you're going to be remembered. This basically means your legacy basically means just being a nice person. I mean, remembered as a nice person, which is a good thing. Always a good thing. 3 other questions that I'm having for you are, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose, and maybe even indeed a business idea, which would be a good thing, a nice thing. But yeah, anyway. I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. Very, very much appreciate the time that you spent with me. I know, the time and energy and attention. Yes. And yeah, I'm going to see you in the next episode. Maybe consider subscribing. I would appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to see you. And take care. Please take care and please stay healthy. Please have a look at you and your family, I guess. So I'm going to see you.